and welcome to Hardtalk India. For 10 years and more, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad has presented itself as the champion of the Hindu community, whilst its critics have said it does nothing but exploit it. So what is the truth? And why is the Ram Temple such an important part of its agenda? With me is the president of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Ashok Singhal. Mr. Singhal, let's start with the plans that your organization has recently announced for the construction of the Ram Temple at Ayodhya. Is your aim to put pressure on the government to remove the obstacles?
This Ram Janmabhoomi movement is a movement of the seers, the sages, the Dharma gurus of this country. They took a decision in the Kumbh Mela this year, which fell in the month of January, and in this Kumbh Mela about 10 crores of people participated, and practically all the big sadhus from all parts of the country participated. In the Dharma Sansad, they had all assembled, and we have told the Marg Darshak Mandal, which is a creation of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad from all over the country, that the building for Ram Janmabhoomi, everything is now complete, and any day you can start the building of Ram Janmabhoomi.
In fact, the Dharma Sansad sent out a message that it wanted all the obstacles removed by Shivratri 2002. That many people say is the 12th of March 2002.
Yes.
So now when you've announced your recent plans, particularly the Chetavani Yatra from Ayodhya to Delhi, which will take place in January, is that an attempt to put pressure to ensure that the obstacles are removed?
There is no pressure. The question is the place where Ram is being worshipped today, at the Ram Janmabhoomi at Ayodhya. It's a functioning temple, and we want to build a temple at the very site where Rama was born. And this is what our sages and sadhus have said, that they want the obstacle to be removed.
Quite right, Mr. Singhal. Forgive me interrupting, but your international secretary, Mr. Praveen Sugadia, when he announced these plans just a few days ago, made it clear that in his eyes and in the eyes of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, the biggest obstacle was what he called the appeasement by the government of minorities. And he said that if our plans threaten the Vajpayee government, so be it. So in a sense, aren't you putting pressure to ensure the obstacles are removed?
I don't think you know the entire program, because the entire program is something far bigger than this yatra. About 2 crores of people in our country from 2 lakh villages, they will participate in a 65-day mantra japa, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And this is actually a religious program. It is a spiritual program given to us by the sages of our country.
And then there's also the Jalabhishek program in 1 lakh villages.
And that is prior to this big program, this Jalabhishek program in the month of September, October.
And then it culminates with the Chetavani Yatra, when sadhus will be marching from Ayodhya to Delhi in January. The very word Chetavani suggests it's a warning. Who is this warning for?
The warning is for people to understand that at Rama, the birthplace of Rama, we need a temple now. It is more than 10 years that the sages have been told that there is something lying in the courts. The courts have to give a decision. And the courts will never give a decision. I don't know whether you have come across one of the judgments of a court. They have said there are certain issues involved in this Ram Janmabhoomi case which are not judiciable. When they are not judiciable, why they are in the court, lying in the court?
Quite right. So what you're saying is we want the temple now. That was the word you used.
Yes.
So the Chetavani, the warning behind the yatra is do it now, clear the obstacles now, don't delay.
We do not know what these stages are after, because I had a talk yesterday when Atalji said that all the obstacles will be removed by the 12th of March, and I am confident about it. Then I inquired that there must have been some talks with our sages, our Dharma gurus. When I inquired from them, they said, we are going to Delhi, and I will give up my life. I talked to our sages of Ayodhya. We will give up our lives if Ram Janmabhoomi temple is not going to come up within my lifetime.
So the sages are actually threatening suicide, so it seems, if this does not happen quickly within their lifetime.
So the entire country has to take notice of it.
But then let me put this to you. You say the entire country has to take notice of it. The Dharma Sansad in January gave a deadline of March 2002. Suppose by March 2002 the obstacles are not cleared, what will you do?
They have said that they will start building the Ram Janmabhoomi temple.
Regardless of whether the obstacles are cleared or not?
Yes, this is what they have said. This is what they have said in the Dharma Sansad itself, that
So,
will start.
Forgive me because it's
For
so important.
any date which is auspicious, they will start.
So, because this is so important, I want to repeat it to make clear that we've all understood properly. You're saying that on the first auspicious date after Shivratri, which is March 2002, regardless of whether the obstacles are cleared or not, construction of the Ram temple at the chosen site in Ayodhya will begin.
This is exactly what our sages and sadhus have said. They assembled there in very, very large numbers. You might have come there, I do not know.
So you are prepared to defy the Vajpayee government if it is required?
It's not defiance of any government. No defiance.
Suppose the obstacles aren't cleared, suppose the government doesn't give you permission to start construction, you will still go ahead after Shivratri.
This is what our sages have said.
Let me put something to
And
you.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee, when he has said that he will resolve the problem by the 12th of March, I think there is nothing left to be considered now.
Except for the fact that Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the Prime Minister, does not seem to be talking to any of the important Muslim leaders involved with this issue. And we don't even know who are the important Hindu leaders he's talking about, except for the fact that you've just told me that unnamed sages will be coming to talk to him. So many people speculate that Mr. Vajpayee has given some sort of hint or assurance that he may not be able to deliver.
But this is a question that you can ask him, not me.
The question I wish to ask you, and I'll repeat it for clarity, regardless of whether the obstacles are cleared or not, on the first auspicious date after Shivratri 2002, construction of the temple at Ayodhya at the chosen site will begin.
2 crores of people have taken a vow, would have taken a vow for the construction of Ram Janmabhoomi at the very site by reciting Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram for 65 days, I think. It is one of the biggest movement that the world will ever have seen.
Mr. Singhal, the reason I'm asking you repeatedly is because the Vishwa Hindu Parishad many times in recent years has fixed deadlines for the start of construction of the Ram temple. Perhaps the first was set when you were Secretary General yourself, when you said construction would start on the 30th of October 1990. 11 years have passed, construction hasn't started. I'm just asking, will the same thing happen with this deadline of Shivratri 2002?
The construction did start. You know, the construction had started.
This time round, will serious construction start, and which will continue without stopping till the temple is completed?
Yes.
That's a definite yes?
Definite yes.
A loud, resounding yes?
Yes.
You won't change your mind?
Why change mind?
Okay. In which case,
Actually, this is the entire institution is by the seers of this country. And I think there is no such institution as sages and seers in this world. Except in the Buddhist world, they have seers and sages.
are you also saying that because
The seers and sages have a great place in our country. They are far more important politicians that you must have seen. They have larger influence in the people, amongst the people, than the politicians ever have. So, the stay of these people, there is a Lok Sansad, there is a Dharma Sansad. And the Dharma Sansad will be followed, the people will follow the Dharma Sansad, and if necessary, they will defy the Lok Sansad if the Dharma Sansad says that they have to continue this. And therefore, it is the people who will ask the government. The government rests upon the people.
fine, your passion, the strength of your conviction suggests that this time construction will seriously start. Let's move then beyond the temple. By coincidence, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad happened to be founded almost 37 years ago this week. Let's talk about the VHP. What does it stand for?
Objective of the VHP is to unite the Hindus, which are divided into so many different religious sects. And they have been brought to a single platform by the Dharma Sansad. The Dharma Sansad consists of the 5th Dharma Sansad, which was held at 5 places. 16,000 sadhus, swamis, dharma gurus participated, and it is one of the most powerful bodies.
Your first aim, therefore, is to unite Hindus globally. Your objectives say that your second aim is to promote activities of education, medical aid, and relief to the poor. How important is that second aim?
Now, for the last 50 years, we have found that the socialist India could not give education and could not literate our people. There is illiteracy amongst the large, the villages, especially in the tribal areas. There is only 10% literacy in this country. After 50 years of independence, what we have found now, that it will be only the volunteer organizations which will have to do this work.
So you are dedicated to the welfare of Hindus all over the world.
Yes.
You are dedicated to their upliftment, to providing them education, employment, literacy, and all the other things the government cannot do.
The government cannot do.
That's what you're dedicated
could not
to
do.
And that's what you're dedicated to do.
Sure.
So isn't it an irony that today, despite these laudable objectives, your organization seems to have identified itself almost singly, almost obsessively with just one issue, the Ram temple?
No, but I'll like to tell you, for the last 10 years, practically the entire movement is in a state of lull. So what have we been doing all these years? Or what we had been doing before the Ram Janmabhoomi temple issue?
Can I answer your question? You've identified yourself singly with one temple at the cost of all the other welfare motivations that should lie beneath your work. You've forgotten the rest of your charter. One temple has overtaken your agenda.
No, that has been done by the, I think, media, not by the organization. The organization is very, very arrived to all the different type of variety of work that it has taken upon its shoulders.
Even you, Mr. Singhal, don't talk about the other work you're doing day in and
we
day out.
We have now 15,000 Seva projects throughout the country. We have 7,000 Ekal Vidyalayas now, and we are expanding these Ekal Vidyalayas because in the last 10 years we found that after so many years of socialist rule, of course we have now given up socialism in this country. After 40 years of socialist rule, we found that 10% of our people in tribal areas are literate, the rest are illiterate, so it is our work to do, and we have for the last 10 years, we have started large number of institutions in this area.
I'm so glad to hear that, because can I point out to you that there are over 800 million Hindus in this country alone. 50% of them don't have electricity, 70% of them don't have proper sanitation, 200 million don't have clean drinking water. To them, these are the real important issues in their lives, not a Ram temple in Ayodhya which the majority will never even get to see. Can you accept and appreciate that?
This is your view. Ram temple is also important, and the Seva projects in remote areas, in all the 1,33,000 villages, tribal villages, they are very important, and we are working with them, and we have found that we have been very, very successful in all these areas. We have started Seva projects, not only we, our sister organizations are also working, and about 50,000 places we have our Seva work there. You know, the maximum work that has been done in the earthquake, in Bhuj, the maximum work that has been done, put up by Seva Bharati. They have taken up 25 villages, they have taken 5 villages.
Mr. Singhal, if all that's true, then why is it that Mahant Shankar Bharti, the president of the All India Akhara Parishad, the apex body of Hindu clerics, the apex body of the very sages and sons who you were lauding a moment ago, says of the VHP, and I will quote, that all it does is rake up emotive issues to whip up Hindu sentiments for their own gain?
It is just, I laugh at the question.
I'm glad you're laughing. You have a sense of humor, but he's not being humorous.
No.
He's pointing out that the Vishwa Hindu Parishad uses Hindu sentiments like politicians use people. You play with their sentiments. You do not give them the welfare, the education, the literacy, the sanitation, the medical
But it is
treatment that they need.
these people who have taken a decision in Kumbh Mela where 10 crores of people had collected. It is these people who have taken the decision. What are you telling me?
Let me quote
Nonsense.
let me quote to you again what Mahant Shankar Bharti says, and this time he says it of you personally. He says, and I quote, Ashok Singhal is
They are all
trying...
in paper.
No, let me finish.
I don't know whether...
Let me finish. He says, Ashok Singhal is trying to pose as the guardian of Hindu interests, but he's only using people, nothing more.
Do you know, only for one single purpose of building Ram Janmabhoomi, we had gone to the people. 10 crores of people, they had signed for building of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple. We gave this to the President of India.
Sure you did. It's a very famous petition.
So,
you quote it all the time. But let me put something to you.
But
There
I would
are
ask you
80
if-
crore Hindus. 10 crore signing a petition for a temple means very little. People will sign petitions in agreement with a sentiment. That doesn't mean that they want their entire life and their country to be overtaken by that project. That's the error you've made. You haven't worried about education, illiteracy,
How do you
poverty.
say all these people? Sir, yeah, I am telling you, what the VHP has done all these years, do you know? We want Hindus also to become a superpower in this world. We do not want to live in this world as a humiliated lot.
Quite right. But you won't
Now, I would like to
concentrate
tell
on
you
the
when they have gone to the
welfare that
peace-
will actually deliver
Just-
superpower
just a
status. You
minute.
concentrate on temples
Just a
instead.
minute, please, just a minute. We had gone to the peace summit last year. Do you know, to our great insult, we found that out of the 1,800 people who were represented in the peace summit, we were 300 strong. And we found that out of the 193 people who were to speak, only 4% were from the Hindu side were to speak. Then I told them there are Hindus also in this world. We are 1/6 of the population. We are humiliated when we find that only 4 people are to speak and 193 others will speak. So, at least when we are 1/6 of the population, we should be given the representation of at least 1/6 of the speakers.
Mr. Singhal,
Then they
forgive me, you're proving my point. You see what you're saying? What matters to you is representation in international seminars
Why not
where
there is-
your ego and the ego of the
No
VHP...
question of ego, sir. It is a question of humiliation. And it was this.
What about the humiliation of illiteracy, of poverty,
No, just tell
of
me.
unemployment,
Just tell
of
me
the
when we had
things
gone
that
for the peace
matter?
summit at United Nations Peace Summit, we thought that our spiritual leaders, that spiritual giants who had gone there, not small people, if they will not get a chance to speak, then I think the peace summit will be poor.
Mr. Singhal, this
The
is an
people-
indication of your concerns. You care more about peace summits and striking grand postures in front of international audiences. What you don't worry about is the actual welfare and condition of Hindus. When you talk about Hindus,
When you
let
talk
me
about-
finish, because I want you to answer the point. I want you to hear it properly so you can answer it. When you talk about Hindus, you talk about temples. But to most people, it's not temples that matter that they'll never see. What matters is poverty, illiteracy, education, medical care. And you don't do anything there.
The man does not have only a belly with him, he has a head also. He has a heart also. You have to care for everything in this world. Care only for the belly is not the only thing. Everybody wants to live in honor. Even a small tribal wants to live with honor. And to live with honor is something more important than the belly. Do you know, we have gone to these three
But
places.
the point-
Just listen. When we have gone to these places, we wanted that these people, we honor them. They said, we want our children to be educated. This is what we want.
But Mr. Singhal, you talk about people wanting honor, you're right. Everyone wants honor, but you're not giving them honor. You're increasing their insecurity. You're increasing their fear. Let me give you an example of the sort of things you say. When you're not talking about the Ram Temple, you say that the decision to beatify Mother Teresa is a Christian conspiracy to eradicate Hinduism from India. You say that the decision to give Amartya Sen a Nobel Prize was in fact a conspiracy to paint India as a poor country. At the very moment when people feel proud because they love these, you end up belittling the achievement, instilling insecurity, instilling uncertainty.
Do you
That's
know
not honor.
what is
That's feeding on people's fears.
When Pope came to this country, do you know what he spoke? He said in the first millennium, we converted the entire Europe, and in the second millennium, we converted the entire America and South Africa to Christianity.
And the church has told you 1,000 times that you've misunderstood the Pope.
And now, it is the turn of Asia, and in the coming millennium, we'll convert the entire Asia into Christianity. I would like to say that conversion is violence. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee has also said that conversion is actually not in our constitution.
I'm afraid you're wrong. Our constitution permits the right of conversion. I have to correct you because you're wrong. Constitution permits it, the law permits it. The Prime Minister himself, in the reference you are making, actually said it was legal. So no, but I'm correcting you.
By coercion, by fear, if they are converting people, it is not permissible in our country.
It does not, Mr. Singhal, let's not get into the issue of conversion because I don't want to be sidetracked, but let me clear the record because you're casting aspersions on people.
We want in this country to live as Hindus, and we don't want our people to be converted. And therefore, we have also gone to the far remote villages to serve them.
And you have a right.
And we have found that those people who have converted forcibly, they are fast coming back
you have
to
you have a right to do it, but let's come back to how you interpret issues, how you interpret developments for Hindus, because you are president of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Even when you take up important issues like the Tehri Dam, you don't do it in environmental terms. You don't do it in terms of the fear of an earthquake devastating the region. You do it in Hindutva terms. I want to quote to you what you do. You say, the Tehri Dam is a betrayal against Hindus and Hindu culture. The dam will ruin the free, pure flow of Ganga. I'm not here to talk about the seismicity of the dam or the cost-benefit of the project. I'm talking about Gangatva. Gangatva is Hindutva. Hindutva is Rashtrattva. You know, something? If that wasn't tragic, it would sound comic. You're playing with religion and symbolism. You're misleading people.
The question that you have put is under the framework of Western thinking, Western thought. The entire country here is submerged in dharma. Entire country is submerged in dharma. What is it that brings 10 crores of people to Ganga at the Kumbh? I would ask you a question. What is it that brings 10 crores of people? I don't know whether
the sanctity of their religious belief brings them, just as the sanctity of Christian belief takes them to the Vatican, or the sanctity of Islamic belief takes them on Hajj to Mecca. However, the same people in all religions want development, they want dams. You misinterpret religious sentiment
of Ganga,
to oppose
what
dams.
Is the sanctity? Do you know the sanctity of Ganga? There is no waters in this world which have no expiry date. All water in the world has an expiry date. Only Ganga water remains pure, remains Sudha.
Can I come back to the central point?
And do you know why is it? Why did Malviji fight for it? For the free flow of Ganga. What do you say?
Can I come back to the central
what
point?
You have to say about Malviji? And there was a negotiation with the government, then government.
Rajiv Gandhi dedicated a project with a lot of government money to the purification and cleanliness of the Ganga. Did the VHP take part in that?
The cleanliness of Ganga is something very different from the purity of Ganga.
Quite right. You see, you exploit the purity because it's a religious symbol. You ignore the economic need to clean the Ganga. You exploit the opposition to the Tehri Dam in terms of religious symbols. You ignore the cost benefit of the dam.
It's not exploitation. It is saving Ganga.
Mr. Singhal,
do you know, if Ganga is blocked, then the Ganga will not be the same. This is what the scientists have said.
Mr. Singhal, you may be saving the Ganga. What about saving the Hindu people for whom you are supposed to exist as a Vishwa Hindu Parishad? Their welfare, you're forgetting.
You save Ganga, you save Hindu dharma, you save the Hindu life. You save the Hindu purity, the purity of heart, the purity of the mind, and the purity with which you are able to conceive the Almighty Lord. Unless you have a pure heart, unless you have a pure mind, you cannot achieve what Hindus say, the moksha, Moksha can be achieved only by purity of heart.
That's
And
right.
this purity of heart is brought about by Ganga, by the purest Ganga. If it can be brought about by Ganga, of course I say that Ganga is very important for the Hindus, and if you say Ganga is not important for the Hindus, you do not know where you are sitting.
Let that then be the answer that ends this interview. I think it says it all. Mr. Singhal, thank you very much for talking to Hardtalk India.